This is about control. You and Tucker, supremely talented. They controlled you because they gave you these giant multi-year deals. You guys were at the top of your game. 8-figure deals is extraordinary. You guys top ticked it, as we say in the business. You hit the peak. And it's scary, and to be talent and then start from zero again. Yeah. But you did it, and now you control it. And now Tucker controls it. But, you can see their top-down control ruins the editorial. You could see it in that Dominion case that Fox had to settle.
It matters.
They start, and they start messing with you, and they try to steer you in one direction or the other.
It's even more subtle than that.
The audience gets it. The audience understands it now.
Yeah, and it's more subtle than that. You don't need a $750 million lawsuit to go against you. Now what you have are things like the CBS clip of 60 Minutes.
Yes.
All of that just subtly chips away at people's trust, right? Now, I used to watch 60 Minutes religiously on Sundays. When I was growing up as a kid, I thought, okay, this is where I, watch for an hour and I'm a little bit smarter for it. And now when you see these kinds of things, you think to yourself, what is the point of even watching these clips? And then when you see the clip being distributed, you think to yourself, well, is this yet another moment where CBS cherry picks the editing of something to portray a message? I don't want the cognitive load of having to deal with that and figure it out. I have kids, I have a business, I have a family. I am trying to live my life. Just give it to me straight. And if you're giving me an opinion, I want to know up front that it's your opinion. But what I don't want is the manipulation.
It really
over
is
time, you realize who you can trust and who you cannot. And for me, it's like, it's fine. I'm happy for Chris, I'm happy for Fox, but it matters who controls this show. And if some were suggesting like they have an ownership, I own 100% of the Megyn Kelly Show. I don't have investors. I have nobody. I have me. Right. And that's the other thing. Like, they're not wrong. When I worked at Fox, you couldn't say if you said anything like to the press, Irina Briganti, that snake, would be all over you. They'd be dropping hit pieces on you to try to control you. And I'm delighted to have nothing to do with this person. I don't know, I don't think Fox has any delusions that they would control me because they sell ads for me in this new context. But it's delightful to be able to not worry about people like that, and you guys know, maybe you don't know, because I know you had lean years. We talked about how Chamath worked at Burger King when he was a kid. But, after Fox and NBC, both of those organizations tried to destroy me. 100% tried to destroy me. And you have those nights in your bed where you're kind of like sad and your career's blown up and you're like, Jesus. And bit by bit, then you build it back. And the last thing you want is for somebody to come in and be like, oh, she sold out. She sold out to one of them. Like, in the end, she bent the knee and went back. That's not at all what happened. I had nothing to do with this. It wasn't my decision. And when I tweeted that out, again, not trying to antagonize Fox. I see why they're smart to have made this move, just setting the record straight. But that's when I tweeted it out, you guys won't be surprised to learn, every one of the people who follows me on Twitter was like, we got your back. We get it. We knew it. Totally. Don't worry. It's just a brand new world.
Can I make a prediction?
But just 3 legs of the stool, Megyn. You have 2 of them, and you got half of one. You got to make that last leg of the stool very strong.
I agree with that.
Chamath and I, we brainstormed and we built this infrastructure inside of All In so that we never have to bend the knee, and we have the FU money and the FU platform.
There's a picture. I don't know if Allison, you can find it, but there's a picture of SpaceX's engines. They're the Raptor engines, and they're sitting side by each. Okay, Raptor 1, then Raptor version 2, then Raptor version 3. And I think what's happening in the creator economy is very akin to that picture, which is that if you're going to build something real, and I think the creator economy is real because mainstream media is decaying. To build something real takes at least 15 years. There's no shortcuts. There's nothing you can do about it. And what happens is the first version, all it has to do is just kind of work and hang together. And a lot of people will dunk on you, and a lot of people will think that you're still kind of, wasting your time, or you're working on a pet project or whatever, but you're not. Because the minute you get that version 1 working, and you've gotten version 1 working, Tucker has, Ezra Kelly has kind of, but he should really leave the New York Times and do it on his own, or Ezra Klein, sorry. What you are then allowed to do is work on version 2. And version 2 is the first version of it that's like a real thing that can stand alone. And then 4 or 5 years later, you get to this version 3, and that is just excellence. And that's when everybody else goes out of business. And I see this pattern in so many businesses. It's going to happen in this creator economy. So you, Mr. Beast, us, Tucker, we're on version 1. It's very rough around the edges. People are figuring it out. We're all going to make mistakes. But that version 2 is when there's going to be this meaningful downtick in the New York Times, in the Washington Post, in the Wall Street Journal. By the way, I said this, I had probably 15 media subscriptions. I'm down to 1, which is the Wall Street Journal. And I'm looking for every reason to just dump it. And for me, it's the anxiety of there's probably some financial news that I will miss, and I won't really get on X or with the other places. But the minute I feel like I can, I will. Now, version 2 has to solve a much bigger problem, though, which is once we're all out there making opinions, the other problem that it will highlight is that the algorithms are brittle. And we're going to have to figure out, how is our information getting in front of the right people? And how do we make sure that it's not just a bunch of million echo chambers so that we become fragmented? That's not solved, because right now we go into a centralized algorithm, right? Everything goes into one version inside of Meta or inside of X or inside of Google. And and Jason's talked about this before, which is this idea there should be a marketplace and a competition for these algorithms as well. That's the next part of fixing the media cycle, because some people may literally want to just stay in a partisan bubble, but some people want the media diet to be balanced. How do you get that? Today, it's impossible.
It's funny because I was speaking with a very smart person about YouTube algorithms, and this person doesn't work for YouTube, but I was saying, well, how do how can the Megyn Kelly Show go from 3.5 million subscribers to 20 million subscribers? And it later became clear to me that this person was of the left. And of course, his answer was, you have to be more moderate, put on more Democrats, reach across the aisle. I'm like, okay, how can we do it without me changing my business model? Because I must be honest. And I don't think the secret to my next level success is to populate the show with a bunch of leftists. But I do have a lot of Democrats on the show, but the answer is not to change anything about my content. It's to make sure the algorithm picks up the content.
Exactly right.
Yeah, the most important thing in media, and I told this to my squad on All In when I was, in the early days, it was just hard to get these guys to show up every week. And I just sat them all down and I said, guys, the number one way to be successful in media is to show up every day. Consistency. And that's what you have. You are a juggernaut. You show up every day. You're consistent. And I subscribe to you. Congratulations on breaking 3 million. That's extraordinary in a short period of time. Consistency is the key. And when we started out, Freebird can't make this day, Chamath can't make this day, whatever. Now, nobody misses. Every Thursday, it's locked in. Nobody misses. Whether I'm in Japan skiing,
you might say you're all in
Italy, we're all in. And that's the way to do it. And hey, when are we going to get this Megyn Kelly Con? That's what you need to do. MK Con with the G&Ts. Sell 1,000 tickets, get all your fans there. I would come to MK Con.
This is where Jason just embarrasses himself. He starts off so strong.
I got ideas. I have ideas for Megyn.
If you had to graph your performance on this show, it starts off so high and then it just crashes.
I'm feeling really good about our relationship, though. I feel like my relationship with J. Cal has come full circle. Look at us now. 4 years of crushing interest rates, runaway inflation, reckless government spending. Who's paying the price? You are. You might have bills stacking up, debt collectors on your back. It can get bad. Well, Done with Debt can be a way out. They've developed these new aggressive strategies designed to get you out of debt permanently without bankruptcy or loans. Done with Debt stands between you and your bill collectors. They can go head to head with these guys, getting your balances reduced, interest rates slashed, and penalties stopped. They'll create a plan to end your debt fast and put more cash in your pocket every month. And right now, they're accepting new clients, but you need to act fast. Some credit relief programs expire. Consider a visit to Done with Debt right now before you make another payment, or call 1-888-322-1054 and speak with one of their relief strategists for free. donewithdebt.com. That's donewithdebt.com. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.